All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And as you can see in the title, what will happen in the next few months? Okay, what will happen in the next few months? And this isn't. I'm not about to tell you what will happen within the next few months. Okay, this is put more in a you know foresight sort of question format, although without the question mark. But with so much going on, okay, I mean literally so much. There's so much going on that one person can't keep up with it all. Okay, but with so much going on, now it goes. The time has come so short. With everything that is happening at a rapid pace. Now it's a matter of something could happen within the next month, within the next 2 months. And what could happen. Okay, and let alone by the end of this year. Okay, with all the things that are being set up. Now, one thing at the or two things I would say that are at the top of the list right now, okay, which that could change, are this whole BRICS situation, and the central bank digital currencies. Okay, this going digital, to just put it that way, going digital. Now, yeah, everything is moving quickly. Yep. And when you look at the situation with BRICS, just like everything else that you see nowadays, things pick up. Okay, then they pick up quick. And the more nations start to opt in to want to deal and join BRICS, the more other nations see that and the more they want to join in. Okay. And what does that do? Then that starts to create this this migration away from Western Western ways of trading and dealing, and now more towards this BRICS, because remember the world right now is on the brink of a global, okay, economic disaster. And so what BRICS is trying to do is trying to look like a stable hedge, okay, that people can now start migrating to, that'll be different, and they won't deal with the injustices that they've had to endure for all these years by dealing with Babylon or America. And this spells very, very, very big trouble for America to lose that status as the world reserve currency. All right, this spells very big trouble, especially for the everyday Americans living here. Okay, but not just them, others as well. So this is the first article. It says a digital. This is from ecb.europa.eu. All these documents are linked in the description box. So a digital euro, widely available and easy to use. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. That's why I linked it, so you can take a look if you so desire. It says introductory statement by Fabio Panetta, member of the executive board of the ECB, the European Central Bank, at the Committee on Economic, and I believe it was the European Central Bank that actually have documents. There was an individual that did a talk with a slide on it as to how on one of the bullet points of their goals was to like literally to micro C hip. All right, put the C and the hip together, micro C hip people. That was going to be tied into the initiative of going digital. Okay, but it's a step that's further down, the process. First has to come the introduction of the digital currency, the shifting away of cash and the old system, and the introduction of the new. Once the new is there and it's established, remember they always start off things looking optional and so on and so forth. But once that is established, they continue to move on to their next phase of the plan. At the Committee on Economic and Monetary Affairs of the European Parliament. Okay, so this is reality. This isn't some article you're reading back in 2018 that is giving you hypotheticals about what the world could look like in 2 years or 3 years. This is actually happening now. This is a 2023 article telling you about the research that they've done on designing a digital euro and the actual possibility how it would work. Okay, they have the POC, proof of concept. They do the research. They look into it. They sort of pitch the idea, throw it out there, think about it a bit, This is at least the outward process. And then once they're settled on, okay, let's go with this, then they actually look into the work of actually getting it done, which that doesn't take long. Okay, they have all the groundwork and everything laid out, but to the public it has to seem as though this is ongoing work. So it says, I am pleased to appear before this committee again today as part of our series of hearings on the Digital Euro project. We are now entering, and something to keep in mind when it comes to this thing is there has to be some central command that is having all of these central banks work together. Obviously there is, because is it by coincidence that, okay, they're talking about you have what, this world government where they had a conversation about moving going digital and all of these things, but all of these countries all of a sudden, right, at least that's what it seems like, they start shifting to digital currencies, and then simultaneously you have IMF dealing with, I think this is the Unicoin, sort of like a universal digital currency, which is also being worked on concurrently. And then you also have the BIS, which is developing this icebreaker hub to allow these digital currencies, these foreign digital currencies, to all interact with one another. And then at the same time, there's like a systematic collapse, right, by way of inflation and this upcoming recession, and this disaster to sort of kill off the old system. And all of these things seem to happen, they seem to be happening simultaneously in tandem with each other. Are we to believe that this is all just by coincidence? No, because it's almost like everybody within the assembly line, you know, they're doing their own parts right on time, like right on cue. So that's not by coincidence. This is all designed. It's by design. And by design, what you're actually witnessing is the changing. Okay, you're witnessing the changing of a new era. All right, the ushering in of a new era. But this is going to be short lived. They're going to come out with their CBDCs, and they're gonna full speed ahead with their technology. Now, I was watching a news clip of these robot dogs in NYC, where they're actually using them, and what they're doing is they're obviously pushing out the benefits and how it has helped do this and how it has helped do that. But not only are they using robot dogs, they're using drones, they're using all these futuristic things, slowly ushering it in. So these are things that you would originally see in movies, certain TV shows, but now you're seeing that being assimilated into reality because it's called predictive programming. So it says here, we are now entering the final stage of the investigation phase of the project. And with every project that has an investigation phase will mean that it has to have an implementation phase at some point. It says the ECB's governing council recently endorsed a third set of design options for the digital euro, design options that we have also discussed in previous hearings. Today, we are thus publishing a report setting out the euro system's views on how people could access, hold, and start to use the digital euro. The report also examines how digital euro could be distributed by intermediaries, as well as the services and features it could offer. And with all of this, you have to keep in mind these are currencies, right? CBDC, central bank digital currencies, sort of like digital money. But with digital currencies come digital wallets. When I send money, digital money, to somebody, how do they receive it? If I, like today, if I give you money, you store it somewhere, whether in your wallet, whether in your piggy bank under your mattress, whether in a bank, there's somewhere you store your money. That is like the concept of the wallet. So with every digital currency, there will need to be a digital wallet, something that is designed to receive and to send digital currencies back and forth. Okay, and you already have companies like Walletmore. That, matter of fact, let's type that in here. Matter of fact, no, let's not type that in here because We know we're wary of the algorithms. We know how they work. You can type in wallet more and you'll see what it's about. Okay, you'll see what it's about. But I'm not gonna read too much more in here. Actually, hold up. Uh okay, let me read this last portion here. So it says our work in recent months has not just been about investigating technical issues. We have also held focus groups to hear from potential users of a digital euro and find out what they think about the different features a digital wallet should have. Okay. Now, something to keep in mind is that when countries start going in this direction, the thing about international trade is that when the majority starts going in a certain direction, you're sort of forced to go along with it, because if you become that one nation that just says, I'm going to stay in the archaic age, in the ancient age, and everybody's going digital, but I'm going to stay with the regular system, eventually what happens is there becomes a gap that becomes too large to bridge, where certain interactions that you would used to have with these nations get severed. You can't continue to have those interactions because now they've upgraded all their systems to function and deal with a digital currency, and yours doesn't do that. Yours can't handle that capability. So if you want to deal back and forth, international payments and trade, and it'll be very difficult, maybe next to impossible, because your systems can't integrate into theirs and vice versa. Theirs can't integrate into yours. And obviously they're not going to downgrade back to the old age to deal with you. You either need to up your game and start jumping onto the digital bandwagon, or you'll just get cut off. So that's sort of like that little dilemma that comes up with all these countries shifting in this direction. So, and really their central banks are driving it, and the governments are being dragged along. So it says, where are we at? This will help us in designing a product that meets their needs. In a modern economy, being able to pay digitally is a basic need for people in a modern economy. With cash, central banks also keep in mind it's a basic need, right? It's a basic need. It's not optional. With cash, central banks already provide a means of payment that is risk-free, widely accessible, and easy to use, and that leaves no one behind. That's also a term to keep your eyes out for. When you hear that, leave no one behind, that's that United Nations talk. What it means here is that how do I put this? Leave no one behind is the sugar-coated way of we're gonna get everybody, right? That no man would buy or sell save he that took the MOTB, or that anybody that wouldn't worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's what leave no one behind means. It means leave no stone unturned. We're just saying it in a way where it sounds like when you say we're not going to leave anybody behind, it sounds almost noble, as if there's something good that we're providing for everybody and we're just going to make sure nobody misses out on it. But at the same time, you could be sending people to a death camp and then say we're not going to leave anyone behind. It's just the way you're wording it that makes it sound as though it's some noble thing. But leave no one behind means that they're going to put a system in place where they can monitor and get everybody. So you're either going to be down or you're going to be got. All right, but that's their talk, their double speak. So going on, it says, but the rapid digitalization of our economies requires us to complement cash with its evolution in the digital sphere, or fear, or whatever, a digital euro. You hear that? Pay attention to these words. Okay, the rapid, keyword rapid, digitalization of our economies requires, so because of how fast paced the economies are becoming digitalized, it's forcing them to have to complement, meaning like in addition to cash, like when you say like I don't know, one thing complements another, it sort of adds to it in a good way. So it starts off like that, right? We're required to complement cash with its evolution. Hold up, I thought evolution was transformation from roughly using it, right? You go from one state and evolve over time into another. So if this digital euro is going to be the evolution of cash, eventually that means that cash will be phased out and all you'll be left with is this digital euro. But this isn't going to be some 1,000-year evolution. Remember, the key word here is rapid, meaning this is happening at a fast pace. So what does it say? I know I said I was going to stop here, but maybe I'm going to stop right here. It says, as a central bank, we need to be ready for future evolutions and make sure that the money we issue maintains its role as a monetary anchor in the digital era. So what are they telling you? They're telling you, hey, we in the digital era. This is the direction we're going in. Get on board. Thereby reassuring us that €1 is €1, whatever form it takes and wherever it go or wherever we go. And it cements people's trust in our currency, the current trust that they don't have in the dollar. So enough with this article. Moving on to the next part. This is a tweet, all right, that I saw earlier today from Gold Telegraph. And as it says, Argentina will start to pay for Chinese imports in yuan rather than dollars. Okay, and the actual article for this is right here from Reuters. And once again, it doesn't sound too good. So going back to the title, what will happen in a few months as more countries start to, deal with BRICS, trying to join BRICS, but also more. Look, if Argentina starts doing this, other nations see it. Eventually, they're going to start, why are we still using dollars? And remember that the less countries that are using the dollar, the more countries that are dumping it, it makes it worse. If you are, say, the last 3 countries that are actually still dealing with the dollar and all the other countries have already abandoned it, it's worse for you. So you might as well jump ship with the rest of them. Better late than sorry. So it says Argentina to pay for Chinese imports in yuan rather than dollars. This is not good for the US dollar. Not good at all. And then the next article is going to explain to you why. So it says Buenos Aires, Argentina will start to pay for Chinese imports in yuan rather than dollars. The government announced Wednesday a measure that aims to relieve the country's dwindling dollar reserves. In April, it aims to pay around $1 billion or 1 billion of Chinese imports in yuan instead of dollars, and thereafter around 790 million of monthly imports will be paid in yuan, a government statement said. And the yuan is competing with the dollar. All right, and it's not doing too bad. It says the decision aims to ease the outflow of dollars. Argentina's economic minister Sergio Massa said during an event following a meeting with the Chinese ambassador Zhu Xiaoli, as well as companies from various sectors. And so, yeah, outwardly they might say, "Oh, we want to limit how the outflow, yada yada, of our dollars." But the real reason, all right, on the real deal of it is that we're starting to see that maybe there's a better advantage for us to start dealing with the yuan, instead of dollars. So this article I'm going to jump through it a bit just to hit a few points. But as it says, this came out 2022. Yeah. So it says, what happens if the United States loses its world reserve currency status? And as we've said before, the US dollar is not backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. It's now just oil, which, we have to keep our eyes out on countries like Saudi Arabia and see what they end up doing, because once that's gone or even threatened, this currency dies, because it's just paper, nothing. Not like, maybe the US military, but there's no actual substance that actually supports this dollar. It'll literally just be a piece of paper. $1, $100, $500. It's just 500 pieces of paper. You cannot take it anywhere for any value. It doesn't hold any weight. So it says, imagine, if you will, it's 2025 and the world is still in the grips of crippling stagflation. Prices are soaring and a recession has killed off countless jobs. The world is looking, and that recession is no joke either, because what it's going to do is it's going to put people in a very difficult position. It's going to really stress people out. Right now, you have people that are saying that I saw a post that said people that have that make about $300,000 a year feels like they make only $100,000 a year, because you go to the store. I think one time I went to the store, I bought bread, water, and deodorant, and this shit was like $40. $40 for 3 items, like so prices are going up. Don't get it twisted because they're not putting it in the mainstream media as like a main alarming concern that it's not happening. It's still happening. It's still happening. So let's keep reading it. So right, I was saying that the recession is going to kill off a lot of jobs, and that's going to make people very, very, very desperate, but it also make them dependent, because when people lose their jobs, I mean, people could talk shit about unemployment all they want, but when they lose their jobs, that's where they go. So it also makes them dependent, because if the government provides you some fallback system, when you don't need it, it's okay. When you do need it, then you see it in a different light. All it takes is just a little bit of desperation. It says the world is looking for answers and the United States isn't offering the right ones. As the BRICS collaboration of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa gains steam in economic and financial sectors and creates ex-US financial pathways, there's a real possibility that the United States could lose its status as the world's reserve currency. And so what did they do? They said Russia's the boogeyman for invading Ukraine. Let's throw sanctions on their ass. and we told you, I forgot who it was. I think it was somebody in the US cabinet or somewhere that said, hey, maybe we should be careful before throwing out sanctions, because this could actually backfire. And lo and behold, it backfired. So it says, as the war between Russia and Ukraine continues, Russian President Vladimir Putin seems unfazed by United States sanctions, meant to hinder his ability to access goods and services and hopefully change his behavior. Unfortunately for the US, it's not working. Russia is a big player in BRICS and is making allies of countries like Turkey. So what should come to mind? Ezekiel 38, because that is all part of biblical prophecy. Turkey may be in NATO, but they're going to be a part of Russia, meaning they're going to be on the side of Russia. Russia is going to be a guard to Turkey as well. It says, as those nations consider adding several other independent states to their list of collaborators. So let me jump down a bit. The part that I really wanted to take a look at here was, this is also another interesting part, right? It says, with China pushing to institute the yuan as the new world reserve currency, a power struggle between the East and the West is happening, and the undertones are reverberating throughout the world. In 2015, China took its first steps in setting itself up as a player in the global economic market by creating its own World Bank. The new development bank centered in Shanghai is a multi-billion-dollar investment by the BRICS nations to circumvent the US and IMF. So they're finding ways around all of this. All right, all the tips and tricks. Tricks, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. They're finding ways around all of it. Let's see. It says leading countries including Britain, Germany, Australia, and South Korea signed up to join the new development bank, effectively leaving only the US and Japan on the outs. But now I want to jump down to, how does this affect you? Okay. So it says here, the US can still suffer. If China goes to war with Taiwan, it would mean deep economic waves for the US. But if China manages to usurp the US and become the world's reserve currency, things get really bad. Virtually overnight, the US dollar would become worth paper it's printed on, which is basically nothing. Its purchasing power, which has been slipping for some time now, would bottom out. So that would be like when you have somebody, I think is the EKG or something, or whatever it is that in the hospital does the beep, 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 whatever it is. When this happens, it will be that flat line, be like just a flat line. That's what's gonna happen to the US dollar, and it's gonna happen quick. Okay, it's gonna happen quick. It's gonna be a quick reaction. So right now, there's that slow buildup with every step. It's literally adding bricks. Okay, one after the other. But eventually, it'll get to the point where it just needs one more move, whether it's in the next month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, however long it is. But if things keep on going like this, that US dollar will completely lose its value. And you know what's going to happen? It says not to mention all the US debt that China holds could come due, devaluing the dollar that much more. What does that mean for the average citizen? It means that your paycheck, which you poured 40 to 80 hours of your time and labor into, is worth pennies instead of dollars. So that's when your money, your so-called hard-earned, you know why? Because when you work 40 hours or you work 80 hours, that you don't get to work less. You still work 40 hours, 40 to 80 hours, but what you get paid is less, meaning your paycheck number is the same, but the value is less. Say you get paid $800 bi-weekly. At the end of every 2 weeks, you get paid $800. If something like this happens, you're still going to get paid $800, but you're not going to be able to buy $800 worth of items. You can only buy maybe $400 worth of items. That's all your $800 will get you. Maybe the following week after that, you check your bank account. Yes, it's going to say $800 direct deposit came in from your job. But when you go to the store, you're only going to be able to buy $200 worth of things until eventually, well, with something, a move on this level, really you'd only be able to buy, I don't know, a couple of dollars worth of stuff. And that's when the value, that's when you have that hyperinflation and the value of the dollar is completely dead. So it doesn't matter how much of it you have, it really won't do you any good. And then don't be surprised when the government tries to institute certain checks, price controls, and all of these things. They say, hey, you can't charge more than this amount for such items. What is that going to cause? A lot of companies and producers are going to shut down. They're going to say, look, if I own a business or I own a company, I don't get my items for free. The way I make a profit is I will either take out a loan, right, or use whatever money, a sponsor, whatever it is, but I have to pay to get paid. Meaning I got to pay for my resources, my building, my employees. I got to pay for all of that. And in return, if I can sell and make enough money, I can cover the losses, right? The cost that it took me to get these things, and then make a profit in addition. When you put a price cap on how much, what's the number I can, like, whatever, what's the cost that I can sell things at, you're now limiting my ability to do that. So what happens when maybe it costs me $100 to get my resources, and maybe I sell apples. So I sell maybe 10 apples, $15 each. That means I'll still get, by the end of the day, if I can sell 10 apples, I will get my $100 back and then some as a profit. But if the government says, hey, you can only sell one apple at max price, $10, then that means even if I sell 10 apples, I'm only going to make back the same amount I use. There's no profit. And then eventually the government says things are getting worse. Actually, you can only sell the max price you can sell this apple for is $5. Then I say, screw you, I'm done. Because wait a minute, now I sell 10 apples and I'm getting less than it cost me to get the apples in the first place. So what happens? I go from making a profit to breaking even to now I'm losing money. And if I'm losing money, why do I have the business in the first place? So I close down. So a lot of these producers, they start closing shop. They say it's not worth it. And then things just shit hits the fan. Let's just put it like that. And then you have your second Ezra's 15s and 16s and on high levels. Because the book of Second Ezra's 15, the 15th chapter and the 16th chapter, when it talks about the sedition among men and the chaos and the breaking, these are things that they're going to be ongoing, but they're going to be levels, meaning at certain points when desperation hits a very high point, the events happening that were described will hit a certain peak, okay, where it'll just be all out anarchy, all out chaos. And without a shadow of a doubt, you'll know that you're in a time of Jacob's trouble. So reading on, it says here, so not only is your paycheck going to be worth pennies instead of dollars, affording basic necessities like food, water, shelter, clothing become obstacles, and in some cases, insurmountable problems. So what's going to happen when people start feeling this pain? You know what's going to happen? They're going to start getting a perfect memory, and they're going to start recollecting, hold on, I think I heard something years ago about Biden saying that inflation was transitory. Wait a minute, wasn't this guy the guy who went through sanctions, and then I heard that it backfired, and somebody says, hey, I heard that the Fed knew that this was going to happen and they didn't do anything about it. So that then it starts to spark up that spirit inside of people, okay? And then they get angry, they get roused up, and they're like, yo, what's up? So you start having these protests that go from peaceful to violent very quickly. You know what keeps a protest so-called peaceful? The fact that they go around and chant in the streets, no justice, no peace, Black Lives Matter, yada yada, right? And they know that, okay, I'm tired, I'm going home. It's getting late, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to sleep, I gotta go to work on Monday. And then maybe on their way home, they stop at a fast food restaurant, they get something to go, and then they go home and they eat. They're cool. They're nice and recharged. Maybe after work on the next day or whatever, they got some time, they go back out there with their cardboard signs. Cool. Now, when this individual is not protesting because of Black Lives Matter, they're not saying no justice, no peace. They're protesting because they have no food to eat. Their kids are crying. Their kids are sick. There's no water. It's hot as hell. They got evicted. Sir, all these things are happening. They lost their jobs. They're not going to be out there saying, okay, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep, I got work tomorrow. No. They are hungry. They are pissed off. They are hangry. Okay? They're just distraught. And when they feel like they have nothing left to lose, they lose it. So that's when you start seeing some wild anarchy. And this time it's not going to be like somebody's breaking into a store because it's a trend, everybody's doing it. No, they're going to be doing it because I need shit. I need something to eat. I need something. So, F security, F going to prison, I need this. So things will get very bad. But it's just a matter of time. Reading on, it says, there's no rainy day fund to save toward that trip to Disney World or a trip to the beach. It's grinding day in and day out just to afford a meal. You see? And that's Revelation, the 6th chapter, going into the 3 measures of barley for a penny, which when you go into that word penny, it's not like 1 cent. Okay, a penny was equivalent to a Roman centurion's day's wage. Okay, so that's a lot of money to spend for some some wheat and barley. Okay, but that's the point that he's making here, right? You're gonna have to grind day in and day out. All those hours you put in, the sweat and the back breaking work, just for one meal, if you can find some. Remember when there was the shortage of baby formula, and you had people losing their minds? I mean, driving hours and hours and hours to try and find one store, and there's this super long line, and you get there and there's only one left, and somebody just picked it up, and you're crying and you lose it. It's like, oh my god. And that was a baby formula. Imagine real food, imagine water, imagine gas. Things are gonna get very bad, man. Yeah. So lastly, this is the book of Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 1. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came on to me, saying, also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord God, unto the land of Israel, the end is come upon the four corners of the land. And guess what? This is gonna this energy that the Lord has is saying is putting out there through the mouth of Ezekiel is gonna apply in this time as well. Okay, especially starting from verse 3, as it says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee. Because the Lord has been angry at us, I mean, throughout numerous generations, but he's always punished us in measure and always had that mercy. But that's why he set up the time of Jacob's trouble, where he can just he already preordained mercy. So in the time of Jacob's trouble, it's just going to be that wrath. And it's going to manifest in the form of things that we see today, like the economic collapse, the famines, the pestilence, the martial law, the thermonuclear missiles, World War III. These are going to be manifestations of the Lord's wrath. Not to mention natural disasters, okay, supernatural sightings, all of these things. They're spirits, apparitions. It says an end, Slaki, it says, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, which the majority of the ways of our people is wickedness. Okay. Well, you write about the sea hip, but there's not just one antichrist. Okay, there's many antichrists. Okay, it's not just one guy that's gonna come up one day and do all this. Okay, and trust me, he's gonna be using more than Google. All right, but so it says here, and I will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. So all the wickedness that you see going on, I saw that video that young Israelite boy who he recorded it. He saw the homeless guy behind the dumpster, and then he's like, "Hey, you hungry, man? You want a baconator, and then fries and a drink or whatnot." And then he goes and buys it, and he just eats it in front of the guy's face, and then walks away. See a nigga like that? See a dude like that? It would be too easy to just beat his ass and let him go. Nah. A dude like that has to feel that kind of pain, You know what I mean? And the Lord sees all these things. And the scriptures talk about, basically offending somebody that is poor, and then they cry unto the Lord, and the Lord hears them. They cry unto the Lord in the bitterness of their soul, and he hears them. And trust me, the poor man probably cannot recompense you for the wickedness you've done to him, but the Lord will do it on his behalf. So see a dude like that, I mean, it would be more than justifiable to have his ass starve in the famine, right? Wish he was dead. Who knows? But as it says, the Lord will recompense all thine abominations upon you. So all the wickedness that people have been doing, these young gremlins, these little demons, these young and old demons, guess what? The Lord is going to judge you. It says, and mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. See, at the end of all of this, there's going to be no doubt who is the author of all this disaster, this chaos, because it's going to be known that this has to be some supernatural power. These series of events on the level they're happening, they don't just have, this doesn't just up and happen. They may start off as very possible, natural, normal situations that happen, but they're going to spiral out of control very, very quickly. Verse 5, thus saith the Lord God, an evil and only evil, behold, is come. So unless you of the elect, don't expect any goodness and relief from this. And even in the times when it looks like there's going to be relief, trust and believe an only evil is come. The end is come, the end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the end. So then the question comes up, what will happen in the next few months? Let's see. Okay, but things are definitely building up. And at some point, we're going to have that boiling point, and then we'll see how things really, really play out. But then you have precepts like Jeremiah 30:7, Daniel 12:1, and these are all there, and they're yet to be fulfilled. So Anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.